Welcome, Weird Al fans. My name is Russ. That is Lauren. And we had a wonderful time just a few days before we are shooting this video and about a week and a day before you are seeing it. We were able to see the Weird Al Yankovic Bigger and Weirder tour. It's Bigger and Weirder.
Yes,
right?
Bigger and Weirder.
We have a bag right over there. Bigger and Weirder 2025 tour. And by way of a long story, we saw this in just north of Detroit, Michigan, because we are either famously or infamously located in Northeast Florida. And when the tour was first announced, for whatever reason, the venue that Weird Al usually plays in this area was left off. And it wasn't like we were panicked and we were like, oh, he's never going to play here. But in the immediate future, we were like,
there were no Florida dates whatsoever.
No, yeah, I know. But in the immediate future, we were just like, well, that's really strange. Yep. And just in case. And I said, and I immediately said to her, I'm like, well, I know he's got to be playing Detroit. So like wherever he's playing in Detroit, we'll just go there. And then if he plays anywhere around us, then we'll just go there eventually as well. And it's interesting because, we work from home. So we're yelling back and forth to each other. This is several months ago. And, she said, yeah, he's playing Detroit on July 2nd. And he's playing Pine Knob. And literally my first response was, you have that wrong. And she said, no, he's playing Pine Knob. And I said, you have that wrong. And she said, I'm looking at it. And I said, then they have that wrong. And we're going to get into this a little bit further. For the Weird Al fans, don't take any offense to that. We're going to go into this further. But the reason why I said you have that wrong is because Pine Knob seats 15,040 people. And Weird Al has never, ever played Pine Knob in his entire career. The first show I ever went to at Pine Knob myself, because I used to live by it, was in 1991. And I've seen some of the biggest acts in music there my entire life. I would have loved to have seen Weird Al there anytime in the history of my time going to that venue. So it was never a thing that I'd ever heard of. So again, don't take offense to that. We're going to cover a lot about that. So this is going to kind of be a free form thing. And I just have some points that we're going to try and hit on. One, again, if I were to guess, this has to be easily over my 500th time at Pine Knob. I want to get around to trying to add it up someday because it might be closer to 1,000. Lauren, on the other hand, was on the grounds of Pine Knob for her first time ever. And a lot of people might just go, yeah, it's an outdoor amphitheater. It's not, but it's a unique place. I like it. It's its own thing. It's at the bottom of a ski hill. Like when you walk in, there's just this giant ski hill right behind it. It's very much set in the woods of Clarkston, Michigan. Clarkston, Michigan has this Clarkston, Michigan is about 40 minutes directly north of downtown Detroit. So it's like a suburb of a suburb of a suburb. And you notice you and I were coming from downtown Michigan or downtown Detroit, Michigan, and we were in the urban core. And then we drove out and it was industrial, commercial, residential, more residential, more residential. Boy, that sure is 10 miles of trees. Mm-hmm. Where is there a music venue? I don't understand what's happening.
Yep.
And then we turned a corner. We were on dirt roads for a little while. And then there was a break in the trees and you were like, there it is.
Uh-huh.
Right. So it's a different thing than people. It's not just a corporate music venue sitting out in the middle of nowhere. So that's why I always loved it as a kid. I told you this over the course of a couple of days. I've never taken it for granted. I used to live within walking distance, and I never ever thought, doesn't everybody have something as cool as Pine Knob? So what were your thoughts? I know we tailgated and everything, but when you went in and everything, what did you think of the whole thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's we talked about this before too. It's very similar to the outdoor amphitheater that I grew up with, also at the base of a ski hill, right? The same basic deal. This is definitely bigger.
I mean, it's enormous, and people. And I took a whole bunch of pictures of different things, which again we'll get into. One of which was, and I don't know what order I'm putting these pictures in, so you'll see it at some point. One of which was when we were leaving after the meet and greet. I made sure to take a picture of the just the pavilion seating.
Yeah, empty.
And I think that picture gives you an idea of, damn it, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, it was neat. It was really cool.
Yeah. So you like the?
I mean, and it's one of those places that's big, but I don't think that there's like a bad seat in the house, even if you're on the
Like
hill.
you were all the way up. Well, no, definitely not on the hill. I've seen every damn buddy on the hill. But no, because it's so wide. I have seen shows where I've been like, we were on the other aisle, toward the center. I have been like on the opposite of ours. Like our aisle had 23 seats. I've been in 1 and 2.
Oh.
And you would think, and no, it's fine. Like you can't see the backing screen sometimes, but who cares, right? So as far as the crowd goes, I had the luxury of growing up in Detroit. First concert I ever went to was in 1987. I've resided in Jacksonville for the last 3 years, but between 1987 and when COVID happened, the last concert I went to before COVID was Garth Brooks at Ford Field, which football field's probably 60 some thousand if I was to guess. But there's a reason why you hear about Detroit crowds. There's a reason why your favorite band, every time, no matter how jaded they are, no matter how many years they've been around, when they go, oh, we gotta pay for this, divorce. We got to go on tour. Like they're like, at least we get to play Detroit. Like there's a reason why. It's the crowd is everything that people say it is. That's another thing. We never took it for granted. It's something that's never gone away. I used to worry about that in the late 90s. I used to be like, oh man, the next generation is going to screw this up. It just never happens. This was your first experience ever in a Detroit crowd. And I told you, I have gone 2 shows. It happens. I've seen like Metallica in the same venue 2 nights in a row and had an electric crowd one night. And then the next night I'm like, who are you people? Like, why are you all here? We had a riot last night, and not anything to do with Al. Because again, I saw Metallica 2 nights in a row and had that happen. My biggest worry was that like we were somehow going to get a dud crowd, and I was going to have to tell you like, I swear Detroit's normally cool. I don't know what's happening. We did not get that.
No.
What was your take on the crowd?
It was just it was awesome to be part of. I can't like separate Al from the equation in all of it, like right. Yeah. What was very cool for me was to just hear everybody singing along to, they were singing along to, to Fat and Like a Surgeon just as much as they were singing along to like Mission Statement.
When you said Mission Statement, which we're not going to spoil everything, but we're going to touch on some things in the set list. I mean, you can go find the set list, but we're not going to be the ones that say every song in the set list. That about halfway through Mission Statement, and yes, I know that the video screen has a lot of the words, but it doesn't have all the words. About halfway through Mission Statement was where I was like, oh, she gonna get a good Detroit crowd, because like they were singing a lot of Mission Statement, like a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh man, she don't know. Like this, because like we've seen them together and I ain't never heard anybody sing that song.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I think there was like 1 or 2 songs throughout the night where the whole place wasn't singing.
Yeah.
It was awesome. The
crowd was great, and everybody's doing the thing with their cell phone lights.
Yeah, I got plenty of pictures of that too.
It was really, really cool.
Hit 1 more minute. eBay for sure. Anytime. Yeah, there was a lot of
to a superhero.
So yeah, a lot of cell phone type stuff. I took a bunch of video clips too, and I've put some shorts on the channel, but I'm not going to put any of the video clips interspersed in this because I don't want this video demonetized. So everything's gonna be still pictures, but if you want, you can go back through the shorts of the channel, and there's some of those up there just for fun, FYI. As far as set list goes, we had I don't want to say spoiled it. I've been, ever since the internet having set lists has been a thing, I've been okay with knowing set lists.
Yeah, me too. I prefer knowing. I don't know why.
Yeah. There's artists that change their set list every night anyways, but like Jack White does now, and Pearl Jam always does, and the Black Crowes did, the real Black Crowes. But there's people like Al that do the same thing every night except for like a cover and whatnot. And I don't know why, but I'm fine with knowing it as it is. And I think it's a very solid set list. I think the way that he opens it, I know he's done that before, walking through the crowd for that particular song. I guess this is as good of a place to talk about it as any. When I talked earlier about having no disrespect whatsoever for my immediate reaction going, oh, you have that wrong. That Al's not playing Pineapple. And Lauren's heard this ad nauseum over the past couple of days because we ran into a whole lot of my friends for years. And a lot of us were sharing up the exact same information. You have to remember that you're dealing with a person who's the first Al record I ever bought is in 3D. In 1992 and 94, I went and saw Al at a place in Roseville, Michigan called The Ritz. That is a 400-seater, and neither of those shows were sold out. And on top of that, out of all of my music-loving friends, I could not get one person to go with me to either of those shows. Mm-hmm. I've been, like many Weird Al fans, been defensive of him my entire life. I've been bullied for being a Weird Al fan. I have stood in the Ritz in Roseville looking around being like, how is this a thing? How are more people not here? And even in his later years, where he was ramping up in popularity, the Mandatory Fun Era, he's got the #1 record in the nation. The biggest place he ever played was Meadowbrook, which is up the road from Pine Knob, but that seats 7,700. Which is still under half of what Pine Knob seats. The man hasn't put out a full record since, and I know all the reasons why. He hasn't put out a full record since Mandatory Fun, and then just announces a tour and is like, over double of you will come worship me. And I was just like, what? I didn't understand it, but I was hoping for the best, and then when we talked to our friends in the music industry in Detroit, they were like, just so you know, there are 20 tickets left for this show. That was what I think the day before we were talking to him, and we were like, what? So I don't mind sharing with you that when he did the thing where he came from behind and then walked down through the crowd, I was ugly crying. I'm 50 years old. I was recently diagnosed with old, and I was full on ugly crying. And 3-4 times through the show, I just kind of looked around and was like, this is happening. Like when I was standing in a half empty Ritz, how much I would rather have been standing in a packed Pine Knob then. And then it finally happened, and the reason why that this seems like a good place to talk about that is, again, like the set list is the stuff that people want to hear is there, the Amish Paradise and White and Nerdy and all that stuff. But I was just astounded at the stuff that people just were like. There was a Detroit-sized roar for the Yoda chant. What?
I mean,
in all of this, I can't stress enough. Is in the best way. Like I'm stunned in the best way I could be.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at you and I both have the battle scars from having been Weird Al fans since we were little. Like like having to defend that. Mm-hmm. And I'm literally about to cry in this video. And then having that happen and to see 15,000 people there for that when, like, as a 12-year-old person, I had to be like, I can't wear my Weird Al shirt to school.
I know. Yeah, what she's doing right now, I did absolutely like several times throughout the show. Another thing I'd like to mention is there was some controversy for years over Eat It and Fat leaving the set list. Those two songs are back. At the risk of, I'm not going to labor this point. I personally am a big, huge defender, a long-time researcher, and so on. I think at the very core, I think two things about Michael Jackson. I think that he's an innocent man, and I also think that he's arguably one of the greatest entertainers to ever walk a stage. But I also don't think that it's Weird Al's place to have to be involved in the controversy that was brought about by anyone else. And by anyone else, I don't mean Michael Jackson. I mean companies who make documentaries or gotcha journalism or anything like that. So I understand how and why those songs were taken out of the set list. Quite frankly, I don't care if anybody else understands that. I do, and that's good enough for me. I was happy that both were brought back. I had told you before the first show, I was like, I really, really, really hope they come back. I don't think Weird Al's ever been ungrateful. I think he understands what Michael Jackson did for his career. He
said so in interviews, like recently.
He's never not said that is the thing. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up was because that was after that was that moment of, okay, if you and I are going to run to the restroom and get another drink, this is the part in the
Well,
set
that's why I
list
like knowing the set list. Yeah, so you can plan.
Yeah, that's a good place. But what I want to, this is leading up to a very good thing in the crowd for me. We ran up to go to the restroom. We stopped off for a drink, and two great things happened in a row. Number one, we talk about him all the time, but the owner of Rock City Music in Detroit, Michigan, Nick, I hear the big booming voice of, hey, he comes over, he says, dude, this is one of the greatest nights of my life. And he's seen Weird Al before, but he's like, this is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. I mean, like, seriously, this show's me. So everybody around me keeps telling me this is one of the greatest shows. This is like a dude that owns like a music store in Detroit, like these guys plays in, every guy around him plays in like every band in Detroit, These are guys who know their stuff, They don't have any reason to sit there and say this is the greatest thing ever. And I told him, I go, dude, I don't mind telling you, I've ugly cried 3 times so far in the show. He goes, dude, I just got done wiping tears before I came over here and talked to you. So like that's the kind of thing that happens. So that's the first thing that's happened. Second thing is, and I noticed this going up the steps, and then on the way down, I noticed I saw one person phone scrolling, and it was probably a dad or an uncle or something, and he had like a couple of smaller kids with him. I'm not even coming down on that guy. Like, I mean, one person out of the entire, I didn't see a bunch of younger people taking 400 selfies in a row instead of paying attention. I didn't see a bunch of people going through seemingly every Facebook message they've ever received. I didn't see, people sending big, huge group texts or anything, like everything you ever see at a concert. I didn't see any. I literally saw a dude scrolling his phone, and it was during the part in the set list where you and I saw fit to like run to the potty anyways. So you know what I mean? Like, who even knows? Like, he could have been like, I don't know this at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. The band, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I mean, your Rubens and your Chemos and your
Steves and your Bermudas.
Yeah, always awesome. The additions, fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Just the layers and some really, really talented multi-instrumentalists and great vocalists that fill in the gaps is not the phrase that I need, but they added color to the live performance that wasn't always like there, because there's songs that we've heard done before. Like I've heard many polkas live. Okay, but I've never heard a polka live with a live clarinet.
Yeah, for sure. And the tuba solo on Nirvana. And another thing that I thought I had this, and actually you're about to hear this point for the first time because I had it during the show, and then it escaped me until literally just now. What's interesting is you have these people, and again, don't take this the wrong way. Not that playing with Weird Al and these incredible musicians he has with him is not an honor. But you have these folks that probably grew up on some of these great, Bad and whatever. It smells like Teen Spirit and whatever. In Al's set list are some of the greatest songs ever recorded.
Sure.
And these folks probably thought, well, I'll never get to play those songs live. Mm-hmm. And here they are, like playing.
Like American Pie.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I was thinking, I bet when you get that set list, you're like. Even if you're like a journeyman musician who your whole life has thought you're like better than somebody like Al or whatever else, at a bare minimum, you got to be like, well, at least I got to play all these awesome songs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what his lyrics are, like these awesome songs, But I would say this, and I'm sure they get paid to look like they're enjoying themselves, but everybody really looked like they were like really having fun at what they were doing.
It's mandatory.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's true. It is mandatory. Is that still on this tour, even though, or was that was?
Oh, that's an edict.
Oh. Got it. I see. Al's voice, astounding. I'll just say these two things. This is a master of his craft. There were things that the song was in the original key, and then he sang it lower, like
he dodged
correctly. But so well that like, unless you're me and you've heard the song 10 million times,
you
wouldn't have noticed.
You wouldn't have noticed.
he did eBay in the original key and hit on highest bidder. Let me give you my entire review of when it happened. What? That is, we have a short of that on the channel. Scroll back through the shorts and find that. And then you'll also see 15,000 people with their cell phones out, as if the greatest boy band in the world is on stage. And yet it's Weird Al and his band.
Do we all have cell phones? Come on.
I can say absolutely nothing. I mean, like he had like a crack here and a crack. I mean, minuscule stuff that no one in the venue would have been able to do that show without.
Right. Of course. And I also think that I love what the additional vocalists kind of added to it. I think they're there to enhance it, but also take some of the pressure off of him, so he can hit those things that impress you and not have to do some of the other things so hard. Like, I really loved the way that they handled White and Nerdy.
Yeah.
You know, because chemo always helped with White and Nerdy by hitting some of the things so Al could, breathe as humans need to do.
I'm not saying this to be funny. I know you're newer to the rap game, but every rap guy, they have a hype guy who usually does the turn so they can.
And that's chemo would always do that. Right. But then we've got these other additional vocalists out there kind of all doing it. So he had this weird, like, White and Nerdy gang kind of happening. And it was great. It was great. And again, it just makes it easier on him so that he can go on and do what else he needs to do.
The meet and greet itself, I'm going to tell you in advance, we're not going to share our entire story about the meet and greet right now. I would like to rather tell you, if you haven't done a meet and greet, or if you've never done a meet and greet, we're going to explain kind of how it works. So you know what to expect, or if you've ever wondered how it goes. And this is a cheap plug, and I don't care if you like it or not. There will be a episode of the Weird Al podcast coming soon where we are going to probably touch on some of these points that we just touched on already, but we're going to go in a lot more in depth than that. And I think at that time it would be more appropriate for us to share our full, like, the first time we talked to Al, the second time we talked to Al, and so on. Now, the reason why it's important to me to kind of share how the meet and greet goes is because I was wildly confused until about halfway through the meet and greet myself. For sure. So, if you've never done anything like this, and there's no right way to do this, and this is every meet and greet ever, there's nothing to do with Weird Al's fault. It's all herding cattle. No one at the venue ever knows where to go. The people who are supposed to come get you from VIP, they never know where you are. The people at the venue never know where to tell you where to go. Finally, someone finds you. At some point, somebody at the venue is always telling you have to leave, and you're like, but I'm supposed to be a thing. And they're like, no, didn't you go over here? And you go over there, and somebody at the venue is like, you need to go back over there. And then the one guy that's supposed to be finding you from the band is always like in the wrong spot and whatever else. That happened. There's a meet and greet while you're watching this video. There's a meet and greet on Planet Earth happening right now where exactly that is going on. And somebody's walking around the stage going, hello, Cleveland. And like, they're not finding the band that they want. So that happened, and I should say all of these critiques, I'm going to say that nothing is the end of the world. So anyways, they take you all around. They basically are all like, okay, here's where you human cattle are going to stand, and impressively, there was at least 300-400 people in this line. So they had to like snake us all around. We were kind of near the end of the line, and understandably, it takes forever for these things to start moving. So you kind of stand there forever and you start thinking, oh my God, this is going to take forever. Like, why isn't this line moving? And again, I'm just giving you an example of like, if you've never done a meet and greet, this is what goes on. And then I'm going to get to the point where I was confused and she cleared it up. And then you kind of tell people what happened.
Sure.
Okay. So we're standing there and nothing's happening. And, you get to this point where like people will like start to big time you in line. And again, this is all things that happen, like people around you. And this is not a Weird Al thing. It's anyone. People around you will like, for lack of a better thing, they'll start like telling you what a bigger fan they are than you and whatever else. And you're always just like, okay, but we're all here for the same reason. I have just as much money as you do. That's why we all paid for here. Like you were not invited by the artist. Like you paid just as much as I did, that type of stuff. So we're all standing there. And then finally the line starts to move. And the way I got confused was when we got back there, we were about 5 people from the end of the line.
Yeah.
I think out of like 400. which I don't care that we were that far back. But like, so the line's moving, and like when the line starts moving, the line starts getting longer, like behind us, like by a long shot. And I'm like, who are you people? And like we're walking, and we're in like we're like, you know, twisting like in an S shape with like no stanchions or anything, which is, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have worked out for any other band. Like only Weird Al fans would have been able to stay.
They organize people.
Yeah. And so like we're walking and the line keeps getting longer, and I'm thinking, were there like was there like a whole other section of like VIP that I didn't know? Like, and they just went and found all these people. And then it comes out to me that you're going through the line once to take a picture with Al, and then it makes total sense now, and then you get back in line and you go through the line again, because after everyone took their pictures, then he goes and sits down at a table, and he's got his Sharpie and his poster, and you come through and either he signs the poster or signs your personal item. So you go through the line twice. Mm-hmm. So in Detroit, there's 15,000 people. There's 400 people in line. That's a long thing to go through twice. Mm-hmm. But I didn't understand that at first. And I thought, this is a lot, and we got to go through this twice. And then you were like, well, no, that's the people getting back in line. And after I felt dumb, I was like, got it.
Yeah.
So then basically we go through. You
go through, we get our pictures taken.
Mm-hmm. They just kind of kick you back into play.
Then they kind of kick you back into line, and then you go through and you wait. And again, that's pretty much how it worked.
And really the big thing is that I find at these meet and greets that the venue is wild. And this, again, every one is different. They're always wildly inconsistent with rules. Like one person goes up and they'll be like, and you may not look him in the eye, or him being whatever artist, you may not look him in the eye. And if possible, please don't breathe the same air. And then like, you know, you walk away, and then the next person, they're like, and if you get a chance, you can have him father your kid if you want. That's fine. Like it's no big deal. It's whatever. Like if you want him to autograph your gun, that's cool. You know, and you're like, what? Like, but you just told me I couldn't. Like, it's crazy. And that was absolutely what was going on. Like there were people in line. They were like, and my daughter's right here. Could I? And the guy was like, nope. One picture each. And then there were other people that were like, and my friend wants to do the Thriller pose on the floor. And there's a guy that wants to stand on his hands. And if Al could grab his legs and the guy was just like, sure. Like, and then the guy with the little girl was like, but what? And again, there's nothing to do with Al, but it makes people feel like the artist did something wrong. And I assure you, they have no idea what was told to them beforehand. Mm-hmm. So I say this because if you're going to do a Weird Al meet and greet or any meet and greet, I need you to understand that your artist has no idea what's being told to you beforehand. So if you ever go up to them and you talk to them and whatever else, don't ever say to an artist like, well, that guy was mean to me. They have no idea. They have no idea what's being told to you at a time. They want to meet you. If they're a good person like Al is, they want to meet you. They don't know what you've been told ahead of time. They don't know what you were told. So just realize that is all, and be patient. Be patient. The people in the venue that don't know, they really don't know. They're not being lazy.
Yeah,
the production team should have told them things that they were never told. So when they are saying to you they don't know, they're not trying to pull one over on you. They wish they knew too. Mm-hmm. So, and I hope that doesn't come off as negative. I'm just telling you, in my experience in all these years, it's never gotten any better.
Yeah.
We were just there 2 days ago, and it was the same experience. And when you listen to the podcast, you will hear how every second of going through that line twice was worth it in every way. Because
this is going to be a good episode. We haven't even recorded it yet.
Al gonna be Al.
Yeah, Al gonna be Al.
If you are a Weird Al fan, please by all means drop a like on this video, because that helps us the channel grow. If you are a fan of another artist that I mentioned halfway through and the whole song thing, don't bother typing your comment because I'll delete it. If you've learned that on social media, we're not here for that argument in any way, shape, or form. Please, by all means, keep things positive on the internet. If you're a fan of Weird Al, you probably want to do that in the world. By all means, if you have questions about the show in any way, shape, or form, as the tour goes on, I feel more comfortable spoiling things, I guess. In the internet age, spoiler is almost a hard word because it's all out there. You can just go find it if you want to. And we're so anxious to talk about it. But I feel like this has been vague enough to where I don't think we spoiled too much.
No, I don't think we spoiled too much. I will tell you this.
No, she'll be like, other than the fact that and then list them all off in a row.
As promised, it is bigger. and it is weirder.
That's true. I will say that. That's,
I mean, it is true advertising.
And I'll say one more thing. You have to look forward to, you have the two of us on her show discussing this show. And then in September, we're going to go see this tour again, closer to home. We're going to do this style video again, because it's two wildly different venues, two wildly different sizes. And then we will do another episode of her show.
And it'll be interesting because this is very early in the tour.
Right. Yeah.
And our next show is, I think, like the next to last date of the tour.
That'd be interesting.
So it'll be really cool to see.
Weird Al fans, please drop us a like. We have a lot more Weird Al content on the channel. Not a ton, but we do. If you were like, what's her podcast? First of all, shame on you. It is the Weird Al podcast. You can go find it on any streaming platform, or I have a link to it right in the description of this video. And that is Lauren. She is delightful. My name is Russ. I get along mostly on her being delightful. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.